if I may now call Irina Karagyur, who is a global business development leader and technology strategist. She strengthens innovation ecosystems, keeping human impact at the center. Thank you for taking time out to be with us today, Irina.
Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here today and to talk about such an important topic as human-centered entrepreneurship. So I can dive in without further ado. All right, so how can we navigate the AI-driven economy in the world where AI is already here to stay? Between 14 to 16% of the working population is using AI, meaning that 84% of population of the working age is not yet using AI. That is according to Microsoft AI Diffusion Report 2025. And casual usage does not represent real adoption, especially for businesses. On the other hand, the growth of AI cannot be met with the current models. The large hyperscale model is very unlikely to meet future demand at scale and can undermine national sovereignty. And I believe that everybody in this room already knows about limitations and enormous resources that current AI models require in order to function well. So in 2026, we have 4 key trends that are shaping AI, and they're different from the previous years. The first one, and the one that I personally focus on, is sovereign AI. Governments, regulated industries, and large companies have been concerned about the ownership of their data, of their models, and the infrastructure. And in order to solve security, governance, and compliance concern, each nation is now focusing on defining what sovereignty means for them, as well as building sovereign AI. Another trend is agentic AI, and there's been a lot said about agentic AI, and it is perceived as a great adoption. It is perceived as being widely spread among businesses, but that is also not the case, as the data shows, as per the opening of my talk today. And agentic AI is meant to automate enterprise tasks, which poses an enormous threat because there are many cases that we've already seen where AI is taking over tasks without permission or with a human input error or with the algorithm error that allows it to perform, let's say, spend extra marketing budget or book events that were not meant to be happening. So for small enterprises, for small and medium-sized enterprises, agentic AI is quite inaccessible nowadays, for the reason being the cost of tokens, and that has been recently discovered by a number of companies. So the third trend is the edge AI adoption, and it continues as companies look to bring intelligence closer to where data is. And the last trend is AI factories, and they're bringing industrial mindset to developing and running AI at scale through purpose-built platforms that accelerate all stages of AI workflows. Now that we know that AI is going to grow in a different way, and we have these 4 trends, I would like to focus on sovereignty and sovereign AI and the new AI economy that we're witnessing emerging today. The AI economy is not about chatbots, productivity tools, or agents. What we're seeing nowadays is the emergence of what I call Economy 3.0. Economy 1.0 was about physical and industrial economy. Economy 2.0 was about platforms and internet economy. And now we're transitioning to an intersection of AI, blockchain, digital assets, real-world assets, and human rights guardrails. In the near future, we can expect AI coordinating the whole economic activity. That is how we verify information, assess risk, and how we unlock a plethora of new unrealized value. A global economy worth $117 trillion as of 2025 is transiting through the rails of AI and real-world assets. And here is where blockchain comes in. When we talk about the new economy, we can't split apart AI and blockchain because intelligence alone does not fulfill economic needs. Intelligence is a big part of the needs, of course, but other needs like asset ownership, trusted payments, secure identities, and flexible settlements are very important. We already see how AI-driven economy is increasingly connected to the real-world assets and stablecoins. The rest of the integrations will come along. AI will help us to make decisions, while blockchain will track records, verify transactions, and settlements. Now we are in the phase of teaching AI to avoid its important mistakes, which are many. But the next economy will be able to connect AI to the value infrastructure. For entrepreneurs, especially for micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, this can be transformative. Current legacy systems are designed for large institutions. But in the new economy, small businesses should be able to access global markets, tokenized assets, and access financing without obstacles that we're facing today. Yet I would like to address a serious risk. We are talking about a big opportunity, but we can't ignore the elephant in the room. Especially if we build the AI economy only around efficiency, instruction, and surveillance, and also centralized control. In that case, we'll repeat the mistakes that previous digital economy exacerbated. We will create more concentration, more dependency, and more exclusion, but only faster. So the question is not really how do we use AI? The question is what kind of economy are we building with AI? And my answer is that the AI-driven economy needs to be contextualized with a human rights stack. By human rights stack, I mean a set of principle and infrastructure layers. Those are meant to protect human dignity, agency, privacy, ownership, and fair participation. The next economy has to consciously embed our human rights in the design of technology that is going to be deployed. Society can't accept abstract promises anymore. If the upcoming systems are opaque or controlled by just a handful of actors, then the new economy will reproduce old inequalities, but just in a more automated form. Human-centered entrepreneurship must therefore mean more than using AI to grow faster. It must mean building businesses that respect people as participants, as owners, creators, workers, and citizens, and not just data sources and users of AI applications. This is where AI, blockchain, and human rights must come together. AI can expand intelligence. Blockchain can expand verifiable trust. Digital assets can expand access to value. And human rights can define the guardrails. Together, they can support this fair economy of 3.0, more global, more programmable, more inclusive, and accountable. The challenge for policymakers would be to regulate this for the future. That means designing AI transparent and sovereign frameworks that not only optimize outcomes. It means digital asset systems that protect ownership, not only enable speculation. It means using real-world asset tokenization to unlock access to productivity assets, not only create new financial products just for insiders. It means treating privacy, identity, consent, and due process as infrastructure, not as a compliance afterthought. In the past, many technologies promised democratization, but ended up concentrating power. The AI economy gives us another chance, but not automatically. Fairness will not happen because the technology is powerful. Fairness will happen only if we design it into the system. For entrepreneurs, this is not a limitation. This is a competitive advantage. The next generation of trusted companies will be those that can combine innovation with responsibility, automation with accountability, and global reach with human dignity. The future of entrepreneurship is not human versus AI. It is human using AI, blockchain, and digital value infrastructure to build systems that are more open, fair, and resilient than the ones we inherited. That is the opportunity before us to make the AI-driven economy not only more intelligent, but also more human. And with this, I would like to reference back to the sovereign AI and why I personally concentrate on sovereign AI, because only sovereignty can protect especially small and medium-sized businesses. I want to give this message to business owners. The message is, be very cautious about the information, the data, the workflows that you input in the rented AI systems. Be curious and explore startups and new solutions that are providing sovereign AI. AI that you can really own. AI that is not rented. AI that can protect your human rights. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think that was really interesting to listen to. I think especially because you said treating privacy, identity, consent, and due process as infrastructure, not as a compliance after that. Because a lot of companies, I think, now use that as general compliance in the end, not understanding the seriousness of data protection as well. Thank you so much for your thoughts, Irina.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here today. Thank you.